Hey guys, welcome back to Fix It Friday, the weekly YouTube series where we talk about video game console repairs, mods, and restorations. And for this week's episode, we have the Nintendo 64. And, this is a system that is extremely well made, very robust. I almost never need to repair these because nothing goes wrong with them. So this is kind of a rare case. And what we have here is not just any N64. This is the Pikachu Pokemon N64 version, where the power indicator lights are here on the cheeks of Pikachu. It's a really cool version of the system. But yeah, this one has a couple of different problems. So one is that games don't load. If I power the system on, you get absolutely nothing. So I want to see if I can address that. Another problem is that the controller ports are kind of banged up. You see this one's got a really ugly dent in it. And so what I'd like to do is clean this thing up because it's covered in dust. See if I can get the cartridge slot working again and replace this bad port. Okay guys, so let's get started. Okay, so we are back and I have already gotten the cartridge slot cleaned up and working, and games are playing again. You can see here my EverDrive, which I use generally as my test cartridge when I'm working on systems. So I just want to kind of go over what I did in order to get this thing working again. So the first thing you have to remember with working on a Nintendo 64 is that it absolutely requires this memory expansion card in here. Whether it's the stock one or the enhanced version, you need to have something here. So if there's nothing in this slot, or alternatively if there is a broken one here in this slot, then no games are going to boot, like at all. So you need to make sure that you have a working one here and that it's clean and that this cartridge slot is clean. The other cartridge slot that you need to make sure is clean is the one right over here where the game actually goes. So normally what I'll do is I'll put some alcohol on both sides of my game and put on, make sure that it's on there on both sides, and then I'll push this in and insert it a couple of times, give it a couple seconds for everything to dry up, and then try. And usually that's enough to get things going. Sometimes if it's really bad, I might open up the system and get some alcohol on a toothbrush and just scrub the cartridge connector, but that wasn't needed here. I haven't even, screwed open, this is all still original from when I got it. So really it was just, reinserting this and cleaning this cartridge connector, and yeah, that's all it took to get games to work again on this system. So now that that's out of the way, we're going to start taking care of some of the cleaning and disassembly and work on this port. Okay, so I'm back, and I just wanted to kind of show you guys what disassembly of this system looks like, because it's a little bit different from your standard N64. So I'm going to just kind of flip it over really quick, and you'll see that there are six screws over here, and these are game bit screws, so you can get those from Amazon, or the screwdriver, you can get that from anywhere pretty much. So you just remove those 6 game bit screws, and then when you flip it over, what you find is a standard N64 board, but then you have this little connector here, and this connects up to the LEDs on Pikachu's cheeks, and there's actually a custom controller board for that specific function. So my plan is to kind of disassemble this further because I really want to clean this thing. It's absolutely covered in dust and it's really filthy and gross, and I can't do that with the electronics in here. So you can see that there's 4 screws over there, and I can use that to disconnect Pikachu from the rest of the case, and then from there I'm just going to kind of scrub everything down and get it all nice and clean. Okay, so I have started disassembling all of the parts, and you can see now there's no electronics, it's just the plastic. And you can see it's pretty filthy. I mean, you can actually see Pikachu's outline here in the dirt. And so what I'm going to be doing is just getting some soap and water, and I use this kind of scrub brush with soft and brittle bristles, and this is usually very effective at getting things cleaned up. All right, so let's get to it. Okay, so that is much better. I'm not sure if this is showing up well in camera, but there might be actually a little bit of a discoloration here, so this might be a case that could benefit from a little bit of retro bright, but it's really subtle, and I think once I put those original parts back in, it's not something that's going to be noticed at all. So in this case, I'm just going to leave it the way it is, because it's a very small difference. So yeah, once I clean all the parts like this, then I go ahead and I put them out to dry in, you know, a place like a boiler room or something where there's a lot of heat. And yeah, and then in the meantime, I'll be working on the electronics. Okay, so while the plastic is all drying off, I'm going to turn my attention to the main board of this Nintendo 64. And so this is the, you know, one with the chipped cartridge, or I'm sorry, the chipped controller port. Don't know if it works, but you know, I just want to make everything look cosmetically nice on this system because why not? So I have a replacement controller port. So what I'm going to do is desolder this one here, and we're going to replace it with that new controller port and see how everything goes. Alright, so we are back and everything has been fully reassembled, and yeah, I think you guys can see that things look really nice now. So we've got a completely new port, everything is working perfectly. I tested both without any issues, and you can see that the games are running perfectly now. So I would say that this N64 is totally repaired now and fully restored. So yeah, if you guys like this video, please feel free to give a thumbs up, and it'd be great if you could subscribe to our channel because we're going to have a lot more content like this coming your way. So yeah, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!